Welcome everyone. We will be talking in this presentation about analytical and critical thinking. Remember, this is a thought process presentation and you have to think it aloud. Probably this is something which needs to be curated much on a personal perspective. Definitely, I am trying to give you certain ingredients for food for thought purpose, nothing else. But then, what is analytical thinking? What is critical thinking? Let us proceed with it. We will have to decide upon why the particular presentation on analytical and thinking critical thinking is all about it, because it is pertinent, because it will segregate the leaders from the crowd, it will segregate the men from the boys. It is the thing that will make you count and be successful, not only in your personal sphere of life, but in any sphere that you walk around it, in any industry that you walk around it, any circle that you walk around it. It is your critical thinking that would matter, and we will look into it that how well can it be improvised upon it. First and foremost thing is active engagement. Remember, I'll tell person A state that his understanding of what has been said, and then probably what do I mean to say is paraphrase it. So that will clarify what have you heard and what have you understand once you paraphrase, and that is what is active engagement is all about it. Person B agrees or probably disagrees with the interpretation and adds to the interpretation, then gives an example of it relating to the ideas, something to the life, probably something to the problem that goes around it. So there is a communication which is going on between person A and person B. Something has been communicated to person A paraphrases the word as best to his or her understanding, which person B might comprehend, might agree to it, or might disagree to it, but probably would further elaborate so that his or her idea is being transferred. And that is what is active engagement is all about it. Person B states his or her understanding, what has to be said, and then elaborate. Person A agrees or disagrees with the interpretation, adds to the interpretation, gives an example relating to the idea of something in life, and this goes on and on. And what I'm trying to tell it to you, I am trying to get into our active engagement as to tell why a particular idea needs to be reverted a number of times because it crystallizes and come up with a viable solution. And that is what the creative and analytical thought process is all about it. So why do we think it? Because whenever we are dealing with human life, we are almost and always are thinking, dealing with a thought process. As we are watching this video, don't you think there are certain issues that is bothering your mind? And believe me or not, the idea, the purpose of watching this video and the thought process that is irritating your mind or issue that you are discussing is nothing but thought. Both these are two thoughts that are concurrently running, and you just have to prioritize which one to follow it up. In all probabilities, you will finish this videos and for perhaps follow up with the issue that was bothering you. And that is what human life is all about it. We tend to think a lot, we tend to process a lot of data and curate the information about it. Remember, thinking is the only way that the mind makes a sense of the world around us, as to why should we go about and doing a particular things. So thinking is the way that minds make the sense of the world. There is no way, remember, there's absolutely no way to understand anything except through thinking. Until and unless we think it out, until and unless we explicitly come to know what is been done and how it has been done, there are no logical reasonings to it. We don't make a sense. The moment the reasoning sets in, the moment there's a cause and effect relationship is drawn, I make uh, things become much more simplified. So, what does thinking tell us? It tells us what there is, what is the problem. I am sure most of you have come across the quote, "I think, therefore I am." So only because I think, and that is the reason why my existence is all about it. So what is happening? What is our problem? What is our option? What threatened us? What is important? What is unimportant? Who our friends are? Who our enemies are? What our history is? Who we are? Who loves us? And how do we go across those processes altogether? So thinking determines what we learn and how we learn. So it tells us why. Why are you watching this video? Doesn't it mean that this video is going to stimulate your thought process? Probably whatever been stimulation of your thought with these videos, you will always correlate it with your professor and your real life experiences. When I say real life experiences, it might be through a virtual medium or through an in-person communication. Now, this video is almost static, right? You are doing it at your leisure time, probably wants to pick up a trick, and that is what we are looking into it, thinking why in first place are you watching this video when you are aware that there is certain things that you will get it ironed out with the person, with the professors, with your managers, with your seniors in due courses of time. The idea is if this video is self-sufficient, you will save a lot of time in either communicating or probably reversing back clearly. So that is what thinking is all about. It determines what we learn and how we learn. It determines what we think is important to learn. It determines what effort should we spend, what we think is true or what we think is false. It gives a logical explanation to understand our viewpoint. It tells us our learning is of high or low quality, whether our learning is deeply or spiritual, as the case might be. This is what is the requirement, and that is what our process is all about. It. Remember, everything we know, everything we believe, everything we want, or everything we are afraid of or hope for, it is our thought process that tells us, nothing else. So we know what we are, we believe what we want, we want what we require, we are afraid of certain things, we hope for the best, but it is only in our mind. It is only the thought process that is happening us, and that is nothing but us altogether. Think of some problem behaviors your students are engaged in. See if you can identify the thinking that leads to the behavior as the process is concerned. So think of the problem behaviors your students. See if you can identify the thought process that leads to the behavior all the time. Thinking, remember, analytical and creative thinking is the core of the curriculum. It is positive thoughts which will make you a happy and a gay person. It is the negative thoughts which will lead you to be into depression. So it is your mind, it is your thought process, it is the narration that goes in the 6 inch of space between both your ears as such, and that is what is the core of the curriculum is. Critical thinking is self-directed process by which we take deliberate step, by which we think at the highest level of quality as the case might be. This is what we are looking forward to, critical thinking. That is the crux. So I'll give you four hats altogether. Red thinking is higher order executive functioning, thinking that analyze, assess, improves into green thinking. First and foremost, understand what is red thinking. It's a higher order executive function, which is basically into analyzing and assessing and probably improving into a green thinking. Let us proceed to the green thinking. It is almost instinctive, as is a knee-jerk reaction, automatic, spontaneous thinking, unconsciously guided, and that is what we are looking forward to. Let us understand the green thinking. What is an unconscious mixture of high quality and low quality thinking, which is spontaneous? Did I say knee-jerk reaction? As if you shower love and respect towards me, I am going to be overwhelmed. I am going to show double the amount of love, double the amount of respect to you, and probably admirations towards you. And that is what is spontaneous. But if you are showing a neglect or you are humiliating me, perhaps the same things in a higher degree would be reverted back. So it's a spontaneous, impulsive, and reflexive action. It is your subconsciousness, it's your self-protecting. Even mind you, if you are giving good behaviors to me and I'm maintaining a normal sphere of moment, I'm not going by the flow of the moment, what will I do? I will revert, I will get back things that have been made happening good to me. I will have a sense of subconsciousness and I will assimilate them. Similarly, if something very humiliating has been done to me, I might not react instantly, but subconsciously I keep on evaluating it based upon my reactions, my reverence for you, or my deterrence for you will only increase. So these are all uncontrolled or unanalyzed, include the ideas that are valid as well as nonsense. Confusion, stereotype, prejudices. The key is what we cannot distinguish. The difference between high and a low quality thought in a green thinking mode. So green thinking goes without assessing itself in the process, and that is what we are trying to go about it. Let us move into the red thinking zone. The red thinking stops and assesses itself before going forward. So it's a stop, pause, and act scenario. Red thinking actually tells you to be very disciplined. The red thinking actually tells you to seek the truth before you give your reaction, to self-assess it. Critical thinking and self-correcting, probing, purpose things needs to be taken into play. So these are the six parameters that comes around with the red thinking. What are they? Discipline, one. Two, seek the truth. Three, self-assessing. Four, critical thinking. Five, self-correcting. And the sixth one is probing. In red thinking mode, we actively work to eliminate the prejudices, biasness, dysfunctional thinking from our process altogether, and that is what we are looking forward to it. We rigorously apply the intellectual standards to our thinking process, to the thought process, as the case might be. This is what we are looking, having it out. Remember, critical thinking man means educated mind. So again, I reiterate, critical thinking mind is equal to educated mind. A person who analyzes the situation before coming up with his or her reaction as an educated mind. And that is what we all should aspire to be. We should make those things as a habit. And how do we do it? Substantiate learning. How do we do it? Nothing. You just have to do about hearing it, saying it, applying it, read it, and write it. And that is what needs to be understood time and again, as the case might be. Remember what I have been trying to tell it to you every now and then. Listen to everyone, learn from everyone, because nobody, I repeat, nobody knows everything, but then everyone knows something or the other. Again, this is what needs to be understood. You need to listen to everyone, learn from everyone, because not nobody knows everything, but everyone knows something. So hear it, say it, apply it, read it, write it, as the case might be. This is what is required as the passage of time. This is what we are looking forward to it. So that is what substantiate learning is all about it. Remember, critical thinking is not equal to something that you add on to everything else. Rather, it is equal to the way you do it, everything that you do it, as the case might be. So critical thinking is not equal to something you add on to everything, as to find the reason behind everything. Absolutely not. But is equal to the way that you do it, and everything that you do it is what critical thinking is all about it. So critical thinking, right, clearly state your objectives, elaborate, in other words, exemplify and illustrate. That is what is a critical thinking. Let us start from today as to what we need to say, what we mean, and how do we proceed it. Then comes writing of the most important thing that knows about the critical thinking. Critical thinking is what is to you. In other words, what do you are looking for it. For example, as and such. So these are things, if you keep on writing and probably elaborating before you meet a situation, you will be better able to analyze the situation, handle the situation in your favor. With these words, I will come to the culmination of this particular video, thanking you once again for watching it.